Hello everybody, welcome to another video here on our Maui no Ka'oi Toastmasters YouTube channel. Welcome if you are new, welcome if you are a returning viewer. This is another video, one of those Zoom talk videos where we talk about different aspects of Zoom and how we enjoy Zoom meetings or not. And today we're talking to Donna. Hi, Donna, and welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. And I'm looking forward to it, Regina. It's an idea that's a good one, I think.
Thanks. I was asking everyone to tell how long have you been in Toastmasters all together? And well, with you, we have another unique aspect for you because you are the founder of this club. So how long has our club been alive, I guess? And what was the main reason that you joined Toastmasters?
Yes. I joined in 1981, so I don't want to say how many years that is because then people will know how old I am. But I joined in 1981 into Maui Toastmasters, which was the only club on Maui at that time. And it was because I was absolutely terrified of public speaking, even to get up in a small meeting, of club members and just to give a treasurer's report or something. I really was miserable. And someone told me about Toastmasters and I joined terrified. And it took me honestly about a year to get over it, get over the fear and just relax. And once I did, it was so fun after that you almost have to now pull me off. Oh, and no Ka'oi Toastmasters that I started, that was in 1995. So that's been around for a long time too. And I started that club because our mayor at that time, Linda Lingle, was trying to provide a benefit, the benefit of Toastmaster training for supervisors and people that worked at the County of Maui. And so she asked me to start a club at the County of Maui, which we did the no Ka'oi Toastmasters meetings at the county as long as she was mayor. And then the next mayor had us move out, and we are no longer convenient to the members of the county.
I'm glad that the club is still alive, even if it doesn't work like for the reasons it was born.
Right.
Now, with all this experience in Toastmasters, you've went through, I'm sure, a lot of changes, different clubs, different, over the years this happened. Now, this Zoom experience, I am thinking I would be right to say that this is the first time ever in Toastmasters history where we are on Zoom online, and it's not just us, but everyone around the world. Now, how does this change to being online? How does it fit in like changes that you have went through with Toastmasters? How is this change, and how does it measure with other changes that you've experienced?
Thank you. I think there's just really been two huge changes in Toastmasters. Most of the time we were working out of manual speeches, and it was very easy to choose a manual that either taught you the basics or worked on humor or storytelling or leadership. We would choose our manuals to work out of that we were interested in. And then just a few years ago, Toastmasters made a really big change and put all their training materials online so that we no longer had these training manuals. We had to log in, get our materials, and learn a different way. Of course, that allowed for videos to teach us in other ways. So it was a really big change and kind of awkward changeover for people, because there are people that don't mind learning online, and then there are people that don't even want to touch a computer. So it was a difficult thing at the beginning and to get everybody comfortable. But then it is now moving forward fairly smoothly. And the most amazing thing is, what timing for Toastmasters, because here we are in another big change onto Zoom, because we cannot meet in person safely. And we know how to get our training materials online, and we are actually more prepared than we would have been if they hadn't made that change to online training. So it has worked out really well for Toastmasters, I believe. I think it has made a new experience for us, and a valuable experience. And I'm just thinking it was fortuitous that they had moved their training online.
The only difference, I would say, is the way I see it. When we were moving from manuals to the pathways, we had more than a year to move from it. Some people were working still from manuals, some were working on pathways already, but with this Zoom experience, it was just kaboom, right? Like one moment, like overnight, the change happened overnight. There was no preparation whatsoever. It was like we were dropped into this new situation that we had to figure out without any preparation.
Right. And it's interesting, I'm very proud of Nokoi Toastmasters, because we just moved right into a Zoom meeting. And there are other clubs that didn't meet for months and months before they actually started to say, well, I guess, I think there was hope that the pandemic would be over quickly, which, if you've read any history, pandemics are not over quickly, and they're completely dangerous and inconvenient and all kinds of things. So I think we were very smart to just move into it and do the best we could, and there were some people that didn't transfer over to Zoom. Some of them couldn't get to a computer, because we had a couple members that went to a library to access their computer. And so it didn't work for everybody, but we made the best we could of it, I think. I think that we should pat ourselves on the back for that.
Yes. With all this experience, what do you think is the best thing about having meetings on Zoom? And maybe also, what is it that is not so good? Like, what is maybe what you miss the most? These are kind of two questions in one. What do you think we are missing by having meetings?
I'm going to start with the good things. So one of the good things for me was I was sergeant at arms when this hit, and that meant that every week I had to go down to the meeting room, which is a half-hour drive, set the meeting room up, and make sure that the meeting room is available. I had to fuss with the meeting room and the setup every week. And then after the meeting, I had to take down the room and shut it down and wait till everybody cleared out to lock things up. And it took at least another hour every week. And now I just walk to my computer and click on the link, and I'm loving that. So that was big for me. And that is true also. I'm also president of a community association and other organizations. And again, I don't have to do the setup, and I don't have to bring the food treats. It's just easier for me. So that's good. The other thing, though, that is really even bigger than that for me is that we realized that we could have visitors at our club meeting, and even new members from other places in the world. And people started visiting, and now we have a member from Germany and Florida and New York. And, we don't know what the future is of that, but these folks joined because they realized that it'll be a while and they can experience a new club. We can have fun together. And then if we get back to our meeting room, whenever that is, then they will have to take their membership and put it into a club in their area. But it's really been great. And so then they explained to me that we could visit clubs around the world. And I started doing that and visited a club in Peru and New York, and I think it was Southern California. And then I realized that they all met for 2 hours, and our meetings are 1 hour, and I prefer 1 hour meetings. But it's still pretty fabulous that you can do that anytime you want to. And the third thing is that the international convention that was going to be in Paris this year was online, and it was free. All the training, all the speakers, the contests, everything was there. You didn't even have to attend at the time of the conference. You could check in later whenever it was convenient for you. And I wasn't going to be able to go to Paris, so I was able to do something I wouldn't have been able to do. So honestly, that's really been a very enriching experience for me, I would say, to have this Zoom experience at this time. And I'm enjoying it, and in no hurry, actually, to return to the regular meeting.
I'm interrupting you before you answer the negative side that maybe there are possibly, but I feel like if there had to be something like pandemic happening, not going into pandemic, but that's the reason why we are in the situation we are. If there had to be one, what a better time for it to happen when we can still stay in touch around the world. How did people stay connected 100 years ago when previous big one was? Now we can still, we still have these opportunities we can do and stay connected with people around the world.
I think whatever happens, it's kind of nice to find if there's any good that you can get out of it. If there's any opportunities, how can you make the best of a situation? And I think Nokoe has done that very well.
Right. So, but if we were to look at something that's maybe negative, or maybe something that's, how I wish, or I miss this from our live meetings. Is there something that you personally miss?
Yes, I do think that when you're doing public speaking training, that part of it, not the leadership so much, but the public speaking part, when you can do that in person, that does take you to another level, I think, of overcoming fears. I'm not sure if it's true of everybody, but I think it's a little more comfortable to stretch your wings and grow in speaking on Zoom than it is in public, in front of a group. So I'm thinking that there are a lot of people that will not have the same experience I did in getting over my fears. The thing that really bothers me is that we've lost some members. There are some people that just don't like Zoom and have said they will rejoin when if ever we get back into person, And I think they mean to, but sometimes people drift away and get into other things, and we may not have the fun of having them back. And they were some great people in our club, and I miss them. But that everybody has to choose what they're going to do, and they just don't like working on Zoom. So for me, it's the people that couldn't make it over to Zoom and enjoy the experience. That's the hard part.
How do you think when we are going to be able, whenever it is, half a year from now, 2 years from now, when we go back to being able to do meetings in person, do you think we are ever going to go back to just being in person, or now having the Zoom experience, we're going to try to figure out, or is it even beneficial to figure out how we could maybe incorporate both?
I'm for incorporating both myself, but I'm not quite sure how that would work in our meeting room. And I think it depends on where you meet and, the circumstances everybody has in their meeting room. I do think we will be going back to meeting in person. And I think that will be whenever it is. But because we are meeting in a college and we have computer capability and screens and things, we may be able to set up so that people could attend our meetings I'm not the technical person to know how that would work. But other people do that. I'm sure it can be done, you know. And so I just think it'll be the will of the group. I think we'll just have a meeting and decide what does the group want to do. And it may be that the people that have been joining us from other states and countries will, at that point, just want to go back and do their regular routine too. So I think we'll just have to see what happens.
I have a few more questions. When you were saying that you visited some clubs, besides the fact that they were 2 hours instead of 1, did you notice some other difference? Like, or was there something that surprised you?
What I noticed when they were meeting for 2 hours was that there was a lot, they were very relaxed. There was no, I think almost there's no real time schedule. They've got a 2-hour time, but they might just chit chat and make small talk for 15 minutes. And then somebody will say, okay, let's start the meeting. And they start the meeting. But of course, with extra time, what all of them did that I visited was that they had extra time for table topics. So they would have a couple of speakers or maybe 3, and then they could ask a table topic question of everybody. So that everybody at the meeting responded to a table topic question, which was great. That was great because a lot of people got practice in thinking on their feet, you know, without preparation. So that I thought was really good. If you're going to meet for a longer time, that's the perfect way in my mind to do that. And then they did evaluations that were the same length of ours. But then there were a couple of times that they evaluated the evaluator because they had the general evaluator actually did the evaluation of evaluators, and they had time to do that. So that was interesting to me. The main thing that really surprised me was the rest of the meeting was just so much. You know, it's a standard format for Toastmasters. Everybody followed it. So it was just really like being in a meeting anywhere.
How about not having a response back? Like now I'm hearing that when we talk, I did not mute myself when you talk, because I kind of felt like it will be better if we just have a conversation, but I can hear my voice echoing there, like in the middle of you talking, if I have some kind of response. Meetings, we usually ask people to mute themselves and so, but does it bother you? Does it affect your speaking that you don't hear any background, like you don't hear any response? Like if you say something humorous, you may see that people are laughing, but there's not that like audio response of them laughing. Like, does it affect you, your speaking, when you speak?
No, it doesn't. I would say that I think, I imagine from their faces that they're laughing a lot harder than maybe they are if I heard the sound.
I like that.
The opportunity to think I'm funnier. I live in an alternative world, you know. So, yeah, no, that doesn't bother me. I know it bothers other people. I've heard it said in our meetings, and I noticed that after our meetings everybody undoes their microphones so that they can all, you know, just have a conversation together, the ones that want to hang around. No, it doesn't bother me. That is not a problem for me. I think it's just, I think of this as a learning experience, so that because there are other meetings I go to that are on Zoom now. And there are times when I need to present materials, and I'm actually grateful that Toastmasters is providing this training opportunity that makes me look a lot more accomplished in the other meetings. And I can see the improvement in myself over others at the meeting who are struggling, you know, to even name themselves on the screen or anything. It's a learning experience. So. Works for me.
Good. A conclusion about this whole Zoom experience and what we've talked. Is there something that you would like to say? Something I didn't ask but you would have liked, I asked, like, for closure of our talk.
Yeah, I think I would really like people to open up to this Zoom experience. I know it's different, and I know change is awkward, and there are things that are not warm and fuzzy because we are huggers here in Hawaii. But this is an opportunity to learn a skill that I think is going to become more and more important in the years ahead. With a lot of people on Zoom now, that I believe there's a lot of meetings that are not going to go back to being in-person meetings. And I'm not talking about Toastmasters, but other things we're involved in and will be in the future. And it just makes sense a lot of times to save on, well, we're not driving our cars around and creating pollution. There's lots of reasons to just stay at home and talk on your computer. So I just wish people would open up to it. If they're uncomfortable and they don't like it, try it anyway. Keep going. See what you can find that you do like as a learning experience, and then be patient with yourself. And slowly, I think people will get comfortable with it at least, and that's a good skill set. So that's what I would ask people to do, rather than say, I'll come back when we can meet in person, because that means that you don't value this training, and I think this is a valuable training. I think people are underestimating the value of it. And look at you do a lot online, so it is, so a lot of jobs are going to be different in the future and involve computers, and what the heck, let's keep up.
Let's keep up. Yes, that's definitely,
let's go for it.
That's definitely a good way to look at it and see it, because that's really
it is
true.
what it is, it's
right.
what it's,
if we think even computer-wise, 10 years ago, we weren't overall with computers as far as we are now. So it seems like it is just going to continue, whether there is lockdown or not, whether there is pandemic or not. It is going to evolve.
It's just practical. Yeah, it's very practical.
Yes. So this has been really fun, really interesting. Thank you for being up, for participating in this Zoom talk project.
You're very welcome, Regina, and thanks for keeping all of us thinking about Toastmasters. I think it's such a worthwhile organization, and the more people we can inform about it and let them know this is available, the better it is for everybody. It's certainly turned my life in a great direction when I added this skill, and so I wish that everybody could be comfortable with it.